My name is Rameshwar Das. I grew up in Westchester and in East Hampton, Amagansett in the summers from childhood, from birth actually. And since I'm now 73, that's a few years.
My name is Kate Rabinowitz, and I live in East Hampton, New York. So I came out to the East End in 94, 95. I met Ramesh out here through a friend. I don't know if I ever would have come out here on my own. I've now lived in the East End longer than I've lived anywhere in my life, so it actually does feel like home now.
Yeah, it's always the place that I really had the greatest association with and loved being here. And I think I've had some sort of an opening, if you want to call it that, when I was about 16 or 17 and sitting by the ocean, where you go from experiencing everything as the central focus of the universe, which most of us do most of the time. And, suddenly it's like the horizon expanded and I'm like, a grain of sand on the beach.
For me, I needed to travel a lot in my life, but that included a journey to the East. So when I finally got back to the U.S. and went to grad school and lived in California, and then I started feeling like, well, I guess some people, have families. So I realized I needed to sort of maybe stay in a place for a little bit longer than just traveling. So it was after that I came out here with a friend and met Ramesh in this very house.
The house across the way was originally our original house here, but it's a summer house. It was one of the very early summer houses built around 1900, 1910. My grandparents, when they decided to retire, thought they would retire out here, so they built a year-round house, which is the one we're living in now. I remember when the Long Island Expressway kind of made it out here. The character of the community really began changing then. And it went from, farm fields to fields of houses. Well, I came back from an extended trip to India in 1972. Yeah, that's where the Rameshwar Das name came from. I went to see the guru of someone I had met over here. And by that time, he had the name Ram Das when he came back from India, which means servant of Ram. That became a 50-year friendship, and he was a real mentor for me. And I practice what we came to call the five-limbed yoga with my guru, which is eating, sleeping, drinking tea, gossiping, and walking about.
And actually in the yoga practice, the yoga asana, it's, you could say, some of the reason that we do the asana, first of all, to breathe, and also to be able to sit in meditation, to have a body, a strong body, to meditate. If you're really, really sick, if your body is impaired, it's harder to sit. So, most of what I did all around the world when I was traveling was drawing, sketching. When I lived in Japan, I did woodblock printing, the traditional Japanese mokuhanga, which is really fabulous with a lot of knives and you cut different blocks. I really love that quality of seeing and, the manual pen on paper and pencil on paper and colors and getting your hands in with the medium. I use a lot of water and I'll paint the whole shape and then I'll run the water and then I'll put in details later.
Worked on different things with Ram Das, and he had a very severe stroke in 1997. And after that, he lost his speech completely for a while. He had complete what's called aphasia. I began to help him on some projects. This recent one is called Being Ram Das, and it's his memoir. Basically, I settled down here from then on. I've had a bunch of different hats over the years. I started doing photography for the local paper, for the East Hampton Star. Actually, even before that, I had my first job was for Dan's Papers. in the year that Dan actually started it. I was also doing kind of volunteer environmental work, and I ended up being the writer for the town's waterfront plan. It ended up as a 700-page tome of, well, some of it's bureaucratic gobbledygook, but let me add that I remember LTV from its inception. I would say from the get-go with Fraser and Frances Ann Doherty, who were the real founders of it. They did a great service to this community, and it's continuing. Our daughter was killed in a traffic accident in East Hampton when she was 14, which is now, 8 years ago, I think.
Everything's been a very emotional journey, really. There's just nothing like it, which is why I'm writing this book, because some books and some people really helped me. And the people who really helped me were mothers who were able to write the story. So if I can in any way help, because I am so sorry to say that it's happened. And actually, since the death of my daughter, I really relate and understand abstract art so differently than before. And sometimes that abstract work just merging into color and shape or form and being able to just be in that and all the mystery of that is more aligned with my daughter's death than a picture. I'm so aware of a level of suffering that people go through and the young people go through. And when my daughter died, I was not as aware of that. She was so full and so happy and so healthy and so adapted. And my son was, it was all like this incredible plateau of love, and it was spring and everybody was well, and 8th grade graduation, and then it changes that fast. And it changes us, and then who are we from that? And honestly, I couldn't really do anything for a while. I remember the first time I put the brush on the paper, and I really, I've had so much emotions over this whole event, but it was realizing how life-affirming that is. And, when you have, especially a child dies, you can't, I can't really believe that I'm alive, and to accept that or to support that is a big hurdle. And that was another thing I wanted to do. Opposite of the Ashtanga yoga, I just wanted to sit and stare at that one point, because anything other than that one point was the past or the future, and only that one point, only that one breath, because everything else meant she wasn't there and she's not there.
And we started a foundation in her name. That has felt like a good way of remembering her.
So the foundation has programs in art, in particular photography, painting. We've gotten grants from a photography foundation, so that's been really amazing to bring the art of photography to kids. And then yoga, many programs, incredible teachers that I've found, including Heather Hartstein, who really took it all over to like 6 or 7 different schools. And I'm also trained in kids yoga. So I've been also training teachers to teach kids yoga. And we've done incredible health food cooking, both with myself and with Susan Blacklock from Provisions. So we teach kids about whole foods, plant-based pyramids, understanding about food waste, understanding how to buy something that isn't adulterated. It's poetry and writing. So Megan Chasky's done some amazing programs with really getting kids to understand the power of the word, the power of the letter. So again, back to the hands-on of art and creativity, and that's so much of what my kids grew around. And that's what I try to do with the foundation, and I'm teaching kids.
It's amazing what this community does and puts back into the community.